All right, so it says the same objective as yesterday. If you have your notes out from yesterday, we'll help you with today's assignment. Now, yesterday, I gave you the assignment, okay, and everyone should have phones put away, should be focusing on the warm-up. Headphones, please. Phone, please. Excuse me, headphones, phone, put it away, please. So you should have gotten this assignment yesterday. It says medians and centroids. If you missed it, lost it, it's in the blue bin. Please. Thank you. Now, let's do this. I'm gonna refer to the notes from yesterday. So if you need a copy, extras are in the blue bin. First thing it tells us, Bx is 204. So let me underline that. So let me label that. Vx is 204. So I'm gonna put a bracket because it's all the way across, right? 204. That was going to be my question. I answered it for y'all. But does everyone see V to X is all the way across? Okay, you got to look up here. Please. Vx is all the way across. So that's the whole thing. We're looking for VW. From V to W. My question is that the big part, the small part, or the whole thing? What is VW? It is the big part. Okay, it's bigger than XW. It's not the whole thing. So here's the question. Let's see what y'all remember from yesterday. What fraction is the big part of the whole thing? 2 over 3, 2/3. Now, we went over that yesterday. If you forget or you need a reminder, let me show you exactly where it is in your notes. Right here, okay? 2/3. And we even wrote it right here. The big one is 2/3 of the whole. So that's what I'm going to use to get the big piece. Go ahead and write that down over here. Big equals 2/3 of the whole. So that means 2/3 of the whole thing, which we labeled, is 204. 2/3 times 204. Okay. Now, do y'all remember how to type that in your calculators? If not, here's a reminder. You go to calculator. Control divide gives you a fraction bar. So you're going to do 2 on top over 3, go to the right, times 204. And I get 136. Okay? I'm going to label it VW 136. Cool. Now, number 2, as for WX. Now you tell me, from W to X, is that the small part, the big part, or the whole thing? Everyone else sees that? WX is the smaller part. What fraction is the small part of the whole thing? Okay, the big one was 2/3, but this one is 1/3, right? Let me show you the notes again. The small one is 1/3 of the whole. We went over that, right? So back to this, we're gonna put the small equals 1/3 of the whole. So 1/3 times 204. Again, in the calculator, 1, control divide 3, go to the right, 204, 68. So I'll pause here. If they give you the whole thing, you got to do 2 times 2/3 for the big, times 1/3 for the small. Every time. Cool? When it gets complicated is this next section. What if you are given, not the whole thing, but the big or the small part? Okay? So let's think about this. I'm going to do this in a different color. Green or blue? What do y'all think? Blue. All right. Now, it says RW is 104. So I'm going to label from R to W as 104. Is that the big or the small part? It is the big part, right? Everyone look up here? 104, this part is bigger than this other part, but it's not the whole thing, right? So this is the big part. Working by the way. Now, if I have the big and I'm looking for the small, careful, what's that relationship between the big and the small? It is half. Did you know that? Yeah. Smart. Okay. Let me remind you, look at the notes. we said right here, if you're given the big, the small is dividing that by 2. If you're given the small, the big is multiplying it by 2. Okay? That's the relationship from big to small or small to big. Not the whole, but from big to small. Okay? So, that's the relationship. Let's go ahead and write that down. Now, by the way, for the warm-up, we're going to find WY first. We're going to actually do number 4 before number 3. Okay? So, let's do, to get the small, it's the big divided by 2. Half of the big gives you the small. What's half of 104? 52. Now again, we just found the small section WY is 52. So remember, that's down here. 52. Cool. Now last step, RY. Isn't RY the whole thing? So, if I know the big and the small, if I know both parts, how do I find the whole thing? Just add them up. If you know 2 parts, add them up. That's called the segment addition postulate. Hey, boom, put it away. So, the whole equals the big plus the small, which is 104 plus 52. What is 104 plus 52? Yes. Oh, no, that's wrong. 156, yes. So close. All right, 156. Now, that is how you do these types of problems, okay? So, again, if you look right here, I'm holding it in my hand. You got this piece of paper yesterday. The top half is like notes, but we didn't use this for the notes, so you don't have to do the top half. So, starting at the second half where it says practice, now, if you look at this, this looks long. 1 all the way through 9, and there's like 6 things for each problem. So, if you listen, your life is a little simpler, right? You only have to do number 1 through 4, the bottom half of the front page, okay? If you like to do the back, go nuts, okay? Once you get the hang of it, it may not be that hard, okay? What? Awesome. Star. Student. All right, but again, I know this stuff can be kind of confusing. I want you to make sure you get it done and get it right, okay? So don't rush through it. Use your notes. Ask us if you have any questions. Again, if you know the whole thing, 2/3 and 1/3. If you know one of the parts, depending on which way you go, the small one times 2 is the big, or the big one divided by 2 is the small. Add them up for the whole thing, okay? So that's the notes yesterday. If you don't have the notes, get them out of the blue bin, okay? And then use the warm-ups that can help you out too, okay?